fucking glowing. Hello, everybody. We are back.
Hey.
So we are back with SHXT happens. You know, they say we can't curse in the first 30 minutes. So I'm going to try my best as I do every time. I am Empress Fox, as y'all know.
And I'm vague and ambiguous because I'm very vague.
Absolutely. Hey guys. Okay, like I said, we're gonna try to be more consistent.
Yeah.
Now we do have a lot planned. We just with schedules and everything, but we are here, and it's like you got to tap in with us when you can tap in.
Yeah. You know, kids be kids kidding.
Yeah.
No, that didn't sound right, but it's all good.
How's things going where you are?
Things are good. The cold is gone. Well, at least for this week.
The cold is going here too. It is 57 degrees. You know, it's going to be raining like twice this week, so maybe it's good that we're on water right now because these rains seem to bring floods. So,
Yes. Yes. Lots of floods and main breaks.
Yeah, the Detroit, that main break that froze over the entire neighborhood. I was laughing. That's why I said this to you. I said, "Oh my God, girl." I said that we're on the right track because people, oh, it can't happen to me. And then boom, now you're stuck in your house for God knows how many days with frozen water surrounding your cars and your homes.
Well, that's kind of what happened to us during Snowmageddon, 3 years ago when we lost power for 3 days and water was rough. We were on a boil water. Wow. And, so like you couldn't use the toilet. So with like our neighbor's pool was frozen. So we were like axing at it to like get underneath to get the other water so that we could put it in the toilet, so flush the toilet. It was crazy.
You see that. And so I just imagine that the people in Detroit that were stuck in their house that couldn't leave, I think it was like, I don't even think they got like a warning because it was a water main break. So it just happened, right? So I just imagine they're in their homes and they may not have enough water. They may not have enough food. They may not have enough anything because, people, like I said, people always say it can happen to us or they think they're going to be prepared. But it's like, how can you be prepared when stuff happens,
Yeah. I mean, you can't count on everything being perfect all the time. So,
but a lot of people do. A lot of people think that everything's gonna be all right, and then boom, and then it's like, oh my God, where's this? Where's that? Where's the basic flashlight? Last time, if you guys tuned in with us, we were talking about like lights and having everything you need. And some people are like, well, you may not need that stuff right now, but it's like you don't know when you're gonna need something.
No, you don't. You never know when you're gonna. I mean, we have our camping stuff and all of our stuff that we have organized. We have to go into it all the time when something random happens, especially with power. But
power,
power is crazy,
especially with everything now being on like. There's no more. I can't say no more, but there's like less and less make of gas stoves. So everything right. In the house is electric. They're like, oh, we'll handle it. We'll just. It's like what?
Yeah. Yep.
Hope you guys are doing great. Thank you guys for tuning in with us. Let's give a big shout out to AJ. Let's give a shout out to C. Johnson. They're tuned in as always. Thank you guys.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Very appreciative.
If you're on our YouTube, if you're on our X channels, we will talk back. We do have like a presentation put together for you guys to make sure that we're consistent with the information that we give, and we go in some kind of order. But we will be looking at the chat. Chat is key. Chat is king.
Yes, yes, they are. And also, if there's anything we kind of last week we sat down and we went through a schedule, kind of a content schedule, and to think about the next things we want to talk about. Um, and I'm laughing at the chat, and I shouldn't look down at the chat right now. Um, yes, somebody go wake up Amy. Um, but I if there's anything at all that you guys want to talk about, because I think we were going to go to food, like food storage next, and like communications and things like that. Bug out bags we will definitely get to, and what I call a get home bag, we'll get to that too. Um, so anything you guys want to hear about, let us know. Even if it's not, survival related, we'll talk about it.
And like I was telling Vague, I said, I was like, I want to think about even getting into survival when it comes to like being in a situation like needing self defense. That's survival as well, right?
Oh
Because
yeah.
stuff happens all the time, and some people aren't prepared, and that's how you end up being a victim. You're not prepared, So we want to make sure that people aren't victims, but survivors and victorious in all that they do. So we're going to type in a lot of different subjects.
And my husband and I remind each other of this all the time because we get complacent. Yes.
I was rolling with it. I was like, hey.
Sorry about that. And we get a little nervous. But we get so used to doing things our way that we forget that we have to like keep our skills up, like grappling skills or self-defense skills or shooting. The more you do it, the better you are at it.
Right.
Hopefully, the more I podcast, the more I will be able to speak correctly.
Got it. You got it. I'm so happy you are here. This is so exciting. I'm glad we're doing this, and
Yes.
people along the way. So
Yes.
that's awesome. Okay, guys.
All right. Well, why don't we start on this water business? And let me tell you, that's a good business to be in.
I'm sure because it's something where we commodified water, like something that's naturally there. You can do all types of stuff with water.
Yeah, absolutely. You need it for cooking. You need it obviously for drinking. As important as having food, like a pantry full of food and canned goods and all that stuff, MREs, whatever that might be, it is more important to have water because you can't live without water. And you also need it to cook. And so you can't really eat without it either. So
yeah, most
water's pretty important. And so should we bring up the yeah.
So today
I love that one.
About water emergencies. There's various types of water emergencies, but today we're going to get into water emergencies in the house, like when your sink or you have a boil water order or something like that. So that's what we're going to get into today, guys.
All right.
So tell us what a water boil restriction is, Veg. What is that?
So what it is when you have your water treatment centers have gone down and they can't treat your water for it to be good drinking water. So they'll tell you whatever's coming out of the faucet, you have to boil it and get it up to a certain degree before you can drink it, before you let it cool down and you can drink it or use it for cooking.
Or is that like, would you want to wash your body with that water as well?
I mean, that depends on you. I don't.
Okay.
But some people are pickier than others.
Yeah,
I mean, because it does have the problem is I wouldn't brush my teeth with it. I would not cook with it. I wouldn't make ice with it. I wouldn't, and I wouldn't take a shower with it because what happens is that there's chemicals, there's bacteria, viruses that stay in the water. And until it's boiled, and that's why your city will tell you we're under a boil watch or a boil restriction. And so it's definitely something I would not wash my body in.
Yeah, I know some people would still, so that's why I'm speaking for those unspoken people that are just like, well, if should I just boil the water, for drinking or eating, or should I boil the water for everything that I'm doing when we're under a boil water restriction or water boil restriction?
Yes, and we have at our house like these wipes that they're like body wash wipes that you don't necessarily have to rinse off,
Mm,
but I do. And so you can, make yourself like still keep clean and,
mm.
it's I just wouldn't put viruses near my body.
Yeah, me
I
either.
can help it. So yeah, and so exactly. So it's 1 minute in at lower altitudes and 3 minutes in higher altitudes.
Oh, so you only
Um,
let it boil for 1 minute.
yeah, to actually let it the actual boil once it gets to the actual
Oh, once it gets
boiling
to boiling
point.
point. Okay, okay, okay. See,
Right.
I'm talking for the slow folk because
Yeah.
I'm just making sure.
You're like, "It's hot, it's boiling." Yeah, no, with the boil, when you start to see it bubbling up.
Huh?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
I know that a lot of people will use whatever water, like, so I grew up in a household that we had these huge 55, like, big gallon things of water that we would have in our backyard.
Okay.
Um, and so, um, we would use those if we had them available, and we would put drops of, bleach in them, and so that way it cleans the water. And
Oh,
so, yeah, it's I always thought that was kinda weird, but I have learned that that is how you do it,
really?
and, you can drink it too if you've had water stored for a while. They do say that you should switch like, every 6 months to a year, you need to replace your water. But
Wow.
yes,
You know
before if
that.
it's been sitting there, like, stagnant,
Mhm.
definitely you want to put, like, a drop of bleach in there,
What's a
or
drop?
a few drops. It depends on how like, a drop, like a droplet,
Okay.
but it depends on, like, sort of I don't know how much you would put in a 55 gallon tank. I think my dad would put, like, a tablespoon in there.
Right. So then, okay. So I'm just thinking about the bleach effect and how that affects your health. Because some people, you say a spoon, it's a big spoon. You say a drop, people think
Right.
you're talking about an actual droplet of bleach. Okay. So it's like
Yeah.
chlorine, but it's safe to drink.
They make chlorine tablets,
Mm,
and in special tablets that I would suggest getting because it tells you exactly how much water it's for on the back of it.
hmm.
So you can get those off Amazon and you just drop it in. So we have rain barrels that I use not for drinking if I don't have to. Um, I've never had to do that yet. But if we're in a drought situation and I want to water some of my plants or whatever, I use that water. But that's another way of rain barrels are a great way to have water storage. And when they get full, and I know I'm getting another, storm coming in or whatever, I will empty it and then I have new rainwater. And then if I, God forbid, I needed to drink it, I would put a chlorine tablet in there.
Okay.
And so
They're trying to stop people from collecting rainwater,
I know
making it or attempting to make it illegal. Isn't don't you
that's
love?
ridiculous. They do not own the rain.
I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand.
People are crazy. They just want it like to be in control of everything.
Like somebody just woke up and decided in Congress, like, hey, we have to make it where collecting rainwater is illegal. But then they try to say it's for safety because everybody's not going to know. How about then you teach the people? How about you
Right.
that if you're scared that they're not going to know how to use it or do it, teach the people how to collect rainwater properly and what do you call it, filter it properly and all that stuff. Like, don't just say, hey, you guys can't collect rainwater. It also creates a fear. It's like, why don't you want us to do it? But then you're not explaining the why.
That's exactly That's exactly the problem. So it's they're creating fear
Mm-hmm.
be, because they want you to be dependent on them for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just not how
The world's
that's not sustainable,
not at all.
because they have their, obviously the city, they have a problem. We have we have boil water restrictions. So
We
they,
alternative. Mm-hmm.
so just because you tell us to boil the water now doesn't mean that we can't figure it out ourselves. And hey, you know, some people just aren't going to make it. I'm not trying to
It's
be an
true.
asshole, but
It's a
oops,
casualty of war, and people the invisible war that people don't see. So there will always be, somebody that doesn't make it because that's just how the cookie crumbles.
survival of the fittest,
People take
which
that so lightly, but it's like it's so true.
it's very true. I mean, either wake up and be prepared
Mm-hmm.
and be aware,
Mm-hmm.
be weather aware. I mean, as silly as that sounds, like a lot, weather
It was
is
going to rain today. I didn't know it was supposed to snow. I didn't know this. I didn't know it was a storm coming in. But it's like anybody that has a smartphone, or even if they don't have a smartphone, like the news, they tell you, but people don't take the forecast. And then when it happens, like let's just say the fires in California, and people are like, we didn't know. They literally put an advisory on Sunday and said, hey, there's a chance of fire and wild winds. But then people act oblivious when it happens.
yes, exactly. So,
Mm.
um, let's go here. So they say that you should have 1 gallon per day per person. Um, and I believe, if I am not mistaken, that should cover that should cover your drinking and cooking.
Okay,
I don't know though.
check.
I know.
Going to
To me that almost seems low, but I guess it depends on how much water you drink, or because I have
know
heard you're not supposed to, huh?
that's when you have to know to ration. People don't ration. People are greedy.
True.
And then if it's an emergency, you need to know that you may not still need those 8 glasses or whatever, how many ounces a day. You have to ration that out so that it lasts.
I have heard, excuse me, pardon me. I have heard that it is the one thing you shouldn't do is try to ration your water, is
Really?
because you really need to stay dehydrated, or you need to not become dehydrated. You
Right.
need to stay hydrated. And so I have heard that the you, rationing food is fine,
Okay, so
but
don't
you
listen
want to be able to
to
drink
anything
water.
I said. Don't ration your water.
Yeah,
Don't.
don't ration your water. And I mean, it, that's just what I was taught. I don't know if that's true. They always say you can find water the
Because
next
food,
day.
you have to be able to sustain, or sustain, whatever. So with the food, it's like there's only so much, and then you have all these other. But with water can keep you pressing for days without any food at all. So to me, it makes sense. What you're saying makes sense.
Yeah. And then don't forget about your pets too, because they're going to need water.
Don't
And
forget
so
about babies.
then that's another gallon a day for a pet.
So when people
So
were running out buying a bunch of water, they weren't wrong, huh?
no, no. And if you think about it, like it's kind of crazy, because you may need more if you're like in a very, like, we lived in Las Vegas for a while, and it's really dry there.
Mm,
And so you just kind of have to know how much water these are just like minimum guidelines. You need to know how much water you drink. And typically, and I'll tell you, the biggest problem with water is storing it.
mm,
I mean, that's the biggest, because if you think about it, they say you should have, what, 3 to 7 days worth of water. So if you have a family of 4 plus 2 dogs, you know, so you're looking at, what, 6 gallons of water a day. And is that, that's going to include food?
mhm. Mhm. I see we have the where it says the water for hand washing. I didn't even mention. I was talking about bathing, but like if you're under a boil water restriction, then a water bowl restriction. I definitely think that you should not rinse your hands with the water out the sink. You know, use
Well, yeah, and that also would include, like, if the city can't get you water.
right.
Like, so you may not be able to, like, your faucets freeze or
Hmm.
something happens and your main breaks, they may not be able to actually have running water
Right.
because their main's broken and frozen, like in
Right.
Detroit. And so, I don't know. It's something you have to consider everything, and it's stressful, and no one should stress out about it. Just be aware of it and try your best to, have a little bit of extra everything.
Right. And we were talking about how people don't know that sometimes because you're stacking that water, um, it has an expiration date. So you want to make sure
Mhm.
that you're using and replenishing, using it because if you just store it and nothing happens within a year or two, now you have this expired water. Now what are you going to do with it? Now you have to waste the
Yes, and I have probably, like, 7 gallons of water
water.
in my freezer because if again, we've talked about power going out, it helps to keep everything really cold also, and then you can let it'll obviously defrost and you can drink it. So that's, if it's coming close to its date, then, I mean, you could always put it in the freezer or use it and then where you wanna
Mm-hmm.
rotate it out. It's a way of life.
So, what do you recommend? I heard you mentioning the tablets. Let me do. Y'all know how I like to go to Amazon, so let me see so you guys can see what she's talking about. I know we said the water tablet. Pull that up, right?
Oh, I just really embiggened you on my computer.
Okay, so we were talking. Oh, this is so funny. Hold on, guys. All my stuff is over here. Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay, so we were
Hey, be
talking.
careful. I don't if you're like me, you got some things on your list you might not want everyone to see.
Oh my god! Thank goodness that I'm no one care right now. Okay. So, um, the water tablets that you were speaking about. Am I looking at the right thing?
Yeah, all of those work really well. I mean, I know people like a lot of hikers that take those the purification tablets with them, even though they use like a life straw sometimes, or they use a grail or something like that, which is what I use. Um, but yeah, sometimes they'll also take aqua tabs with them just for extra, you know,
Hmm.
mind making your mind feel a little bit more at ease.
So this is the girl she's talking about, guys, and it purifies, right? Actually, It's a cool video in here. I'll show you guys.
Oh yeah, definitely show them the video. It's kind of a pain in the butt. I'm not gonna lie, but we took ours with us and we put river water in it, and it actually purified. I mean, it tasted absolutely fine.
That crispy freshwater taste.
Yes. Hold on one second. It's exactly what you said was gonna happen. Hold on. The baby ambiguous is calling. Um,
You want me to mute you? Or you can mute yourself.
yeah. Will you mute me for a second?
No problem. Okay, guys. So we were about to see is how this grill works. You must excuse me for the Wi-Fi being absolutely atrocious.
hope we don't get hit for showing this.
So that, you guys, is the grail of that Miss Vague and ambiguous. Like,
I love that. I love it. It's a pain in the butt if you don't need to filter your water
mm-hmm,
because it takes, they say 8 seconds, but it takes, I mean, it takes a good pushing down and you have to go slow because it's going through the filter.
mm-hmm.
And they're very expensive though. And
But
if
it's
we,
something like that. Would you be able to use that? Like, say you're under a boil water order or something happens in
yes,
the house. I think that if you have one for each person, like, yeah, it's pricey, but it's worth it. You know, when we're talking about drinking water and, you know, specifically.
yeah. And they just came out with that really, really expensive one that I did not know about, that titanium one.
Mm-hmm.
And that one's really cool because you can actually take the plastic part out, set it to the side, and after you filter the water, and then you can boil the, well, you don't have to set that part out. You can, obviously you're boiling water, it's going to be fine. But you can actually boil water with the other part of it. So if you're cooking, like camping, you can use it for that. And you can put it in your MRE or whatever you take camping with you. So I think that's a really cool idea. We always have like something that we can boil water in our backpacks, but I like that. I like the 2 for 1 type thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everybody likes a twofer.
So then we're talking about storage. We talk about all of these different ways. So you got your water bottles, or you have your water containers, or you have the rainwater that you captured, or, you know, various types of storage. What do you recommend for that? Do you recommend a garage, a room in the house, a refrigerator? I don't know.
So I mean, I recommend your garage, never your attic or
What
anything
if,
like that. If you have a basement, awesome.
what if
But
you live in an apartment?
see, that's where it gets like tricky because it takes up a lot of room. You can find, so they say like the normal gallon of water that you like buy from the grocery store, that kind of plastic tends to like break down pretty fast, especially if it's on top of cement, believe it or not.
Mm,
You should, from what my understanding, you're not supposed to like store it on top of cement. You're supposed to put it like on a storage, shelf or
okay.
something like that. I don't know why. I that I cannot attest to. I don't know
She's
anything.
like science.
I
I
just,
don't.
yeah, sciences. So I've just heard, you definitely don't want it in direct light because the water will, or the light will affect the water.
Mm-hmm,
If it's like too hot and too bright or whatever.
mm-hmm,
And so they have compact, I've seen some where they have like water that you can get under your bed and like in closets and strange areas. We have a closet that we keep a lot of water in, and then we have water outside in the garage, but it gets really hot in Texas. So um
right.
we try to bring it in the summer months.
So I just found this. What do you think?
I like that. I haven't seen that one.
So for something like this,
That's really cool.
it's a catching rainwater system. Um, would you recommend, once you caught the rainwater, to purify that? Because, well, we know there's chemicals
Oh
in the
yeah.
sky. So,
Absolutely. That's when I would put one of the tablets in, or I would put some bleach in there, or um, I would. We have something, and I didn't even mention this to you. If you're at home and you're not traveling and you're not like on the go, we have something. We call it the Big Berkey,
okay.
and Um, I should have gotten you a picture of it. If you put you can type it in there. It's like hold on one
I
second.
think
I'm
if,
gonna
if
find
I
it.
think it's at the bottom here, if I'm not mistaken. So I will share this tab. Are you talking about this?
No, 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 those are just rain barrels. Um, it's if you put it in Amazon,
Okay.
um, it's I totally forgot about that. We that's what we so you can so on your counter, you
Hmm.
could put water through it and it actually will put big Berkey. Like I think it's uh yeah, right there. You got it. So that it's larger. And so that's what we filter our water through when we were on oil restrictions.
Hmm.
We could you could actually it has like a 3 filtering system. So if you're not like traveling around and stuff, you're obviously not going to put that in your backpack and like go
Right.
camping with it. But we definitely put water through that and then drink out of that. And it's like got all those filters inside of it. So
That's awesome.
again, expensive, but for your whole family,
It makes,
like
yeah,
it
when you're talking about needing gallons of water, for sure, for sure. Because
and
I
it's
remember
like one of those things with
those
like
7 days, and that's a lot of water.
it's one of those things with emergency preparing, being prepared for emergencies
Mhm.
is like I usually will buy like an extra gallon or like, of water, or I try to slowly add to our collection of camping stuff. But
Right.
when I say camping, I mean, being prepared for, an
Anything.
emergency. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, because it can be very expensive, like all the, because we have a bunch of neoprene, because you can also put really hot water in neoprene bottles. Um, so we have a bunch of neoprene bottles. You can actually put boiling water in 'em. Do I love putting boiling water in a type of plastic? Not really. But if I had to, I will.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah.
I learned that glass also doesn't like hot things. So
No, no, no.
I'm gonna explain how I learned that. But yeah.
Does not like.
Because I like to okay, so I like to clean in like very, 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 very hot water when I'm washing dishes and stuff.
Oh, do I?
So it was just like I guess too hot compared to whatever the temperature was in the house. The whole bowl just like went kaboom.
Shattered everywhere.
For sure. So I can only imagine it being boiling water.
Yeah.
Okay. So we talked about the rain barrels. We looked at the Big Berkey, the Life Straw. So tell the people about Life Straw. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up.
Oh, I did put it on our list. Look, Big Berkey.
Yeah. Hmm. Okay. So pull this one.
Um,
How's everybody doing in the chats?
yeah, what's
I'm
going
still
on?
awake. Sorry, this isn't a It just watched my life and we act stupid. There's real stuff going on the road, so we want to, make sure people are prepared. So, Life Straw. Tell the people what this bad boy is.
Okay, we have a few of these, and I'm going to be honest. I haven't used one, but I know that my husband, Mr. Ambiguous, has definitely used one. Um, he,
So this is the size it is compared to, so that people can know the size of it in comparison to other items that you may have in your bag. So it's not that big.
yeah, it's small, and so you can basically take the water from, a stream or whatever. You put the water in there, and then, from what I understand, you just take off the cap and you drink it directly from that way. And as it's coming up, or you can just do it that way. That makes it a little easier if you know.
For sure.
and you
Why
just
don't
suck it up.
people like in those villages and stuff? Like,
And when you're done drinking it, I think you have to like, wow, never mind. I was just about to, you have to blow, you have to blow back into the straw. Well, I was going to give you like a whole, gonna blow back into the straw. So, and as I was doing that, I'm like, that's not going to look so great. So, I, anyway, moving on.
let's see. I
So
saw a video. I have a video for it.
yes, the video, let them blow back into the straw for you.
Oh, macaroni. Hold on. Are you
As much as I enjoy a good blow, but hey.
don't we all? But let's see. Hold on. Because it's doing its own. I swear, this stuff just starts and it's like, hey, I didn't say go. Yeah, what are we doing? Okay, perfect. Let's bring this over here. Sorry for my technology, guys. My technology does what it wants to do, though.
So does mine. Mine's like keeps embiggening itself.
There we go.
This is not Mr. Ambiguous, by the way.
So you just stick it in there and you suck. And then when you're done sucking, you blow. Got it. Did it stop moving?
That's exactly right.
Look,
That's how
he's
you do
blowing,
it.
guys. He's blowing. He just blowed, blew, he blowed. And then you put it right back in your bag.
Yes. Yeah, that's how it goes.
All right, guys, we're gonna have to. Yeah. Oh, I messed up the thing. Well, I think we got most of it. We did
Yeah.
the big bird. Let me bring it up just so I can see. We did the grill, the life straw, the big turkey, the rain barrel. So we actually covered it. So it's okay that it did its own thing right there. Okay.
Yeah. I think that I think we covered water. I told water is kind of boring, but it's really the most important. It is really boring though. I mean, it's bottom line, have some water at your
It's
house.
boring. The most boring thing though is the one thing that can and will save your life.
Exactly. Exactly. It's definitely not as fun as like, you know, getting your bug out bag ready or even first aid, I think is fun to like. I love making first aid bags.
I'm
Um,
excited for
maybe
it.
that's because my mother made me do it so much. But yeah,
Now,
but water being boring, it is honestly, it really is the most important thing that you can have. You can't live without it. So
right. Okay, guys. Well, let's do that.
all right. Well, if anybody has any ideas of what they want to hear about next, just let us know. As of
Yeah.
right now, I think we're going to talk about food
Yes,
and
next
next.
is food, and as my son said, the MREs and all that good stuff, and storage.
Yeah.
And food is next up. We will.
Who wants to see me try? I have two different kinds of MREs of
Oh,
food
that
storage.
would be freaking awesome.
And so I have never actually tried the two brands that I have. I have a Costco brand and then I have the Patriots brand, not the there's the Patriot, I'll get the exact name for it, but and then I have not. There's a one brand I have tried. I can't remember the name of it,
Look,
but
it's gonna come to the time when it's time to eat that shit for real, and then you're gonna try it, and you're gonna be like, you know what? I'll just starve. Where's the water?
yes, yes. No, well, like we can like get some boiling water and I'll put it in my little MRE and then I'll eat it and I'll let you know how it
Hey,
tastes.
right? Because we can't tell people to do stuff we're not doing, right? So you're gonna maybe go to Amazon if they have some little MREs. I might have to do that with you. We may have to concoct that. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Awesome.
think that would be funny. We could just, people can laugh at us eating it.
My
At
face.
least we're not blowing into a life straw.
At least we're not blowing in or out the life straw right now, right? Because that was pretty interesting. So I guess
Yes.
you're blowing out the water that's left over so that it's clear for the next round.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, all right,
So
guys. Oh, go
make
ahead.
sure you can blow well.
Gotta know how to blow. All
Gotta know how to
right.
blow. On that note, we will see you guys soon.
Sure
Hopefully,
to follow me on all social media at I am Empress Fox.
yes. And I am vague and ambiguous.
V_ambiguous on
Oh,
at
be on. Yes, that's yes. I need to write that down. I need to put that somewhere.
Post-it note. Everybody needs a sticky.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in with
No
us.
dog whistles. No dog whistles.
If you're replay gang, make sure to leave us some comments. Like she said, let us know what you'd like for us to talk about, and we will do some research and talk about it for you. We don't know everything, but guess what we do know how to do? We know how to research. So
Yeah.
thank you guys for rocking with us, and we will see you guys next time. I'm gonna play some music and take us off the screen. Bye. On my face and my phone ring. It's a fucking problem. The way I'm built, I'ma solve them. The way I'm built, I'ma solve them. We in a world where the victim is not a villain. You hate me, yeah, watch me break the ceiling. When I say I glowed up, that was the inner work. Too busy loving the outside, do the inner work. Brain